Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, October 24. This year it's a Friday. Evelina Falenta turns 46 years old. She's the second place winner of Polish Idol Season 1. And because she has such a solid relationship with herself, I celebrate it as a Singles Pride Day. And I hope you will join me in celebrating. And I want to organize a mass strike of singles from the entire economy, whether you be an essential worker or whatever kind of worker, just strike out of work for one day. And here's why. I was working at a technology startup. This was 6 years ago. And I was working with a lot of people my age, and a lot of people took off to uh, go spend time with their spouse, their kids. Kids had some kind of school project, which is all very beautiful. It's all very beautiful. The problem is that I'd fill in for the slack, and to be fair, I didn't mind it at the time. I wasn't dating anybody, and got me involved in a lot of things. And unfortunately, I learned the hard way that all of that comes at an opportunity cost because I only had one set of hands. I didn't have somebody cooking for me. And so after work, which was often 7, 8, sometimes later, this was before COVID when things were actually open late, I would go to my favorite Chinese restaurant. And that was my life for now. Imagine if I also wanted to date somebody at the time. Imagine I also had wanted to pursue personal art projects. I don't think that would go very well, right? But at the time, I didn't have those desires, which doesn't mean I shouldn't have. But also, when I got my bank statement at the end of the month, I realized that I had spent $500 eating out. Now, granted, I was making good money at that time. I will give them that, but it still felt like an expense that I disproportionately shouldered for everybody else for the benefit of the whole team, right? It's not like I went out and got a Nobel Prize for myself, a couple of patents. No, it was for the benefit of the whole team, right? And that angered me, and it contributed to, I think, not only my losing of the job, but the startup company has folded. I mean, COVID didn't help either, and all the other crap that has gone on over the last 6 years. I was working at a tutoring center. This was 2 years ago when I first moved to Phoenix, and one of my colleagues one of my colleagues, 47 years old, separated from his wife, two kids, got to spend time with his kids, and took them to Disneyland. He was working. I was working Monday through Thursday, but he was working some other days plus Saturday. And I filled in for his Saturday students. Now, while he and his kids were in Disneyland, they caught COVID, and so I filled in for the following Saturday. Now you got to understand, I was only going to the tutoring center 2 hours on that Saturday, and at the time it was a 40-minute drive for me. I was still sorting out my career plans here in Phoenix. I just moved from Seattle, so that was fine. I needed to network more with people. What I didn't need was what had happened is that the students that I went to tutor on Saturday, they fell in love with my tutoring, and they wanted me to continue working with them on Saturdays, which in its own right already created a rift between me and the colleague because my colleague really needed those hours. He's separated from his wife. And not only that, but now I was spending 4 hours to get 2 hours worth of work. And not only that, but the Monday through Thursday work was 2, 3 o'clock to anywhere from 8, 9 p.m. And then the Saturday work was from 8 to 10. I think it was 9 to 11 or 10 to 12. I can't remember the exact, but morning hours. And it forced me to pivot my sleep schedule twice a week, which really interfered with my management of my eating disorders. Long story short, it came at an opportunity cost, right? For 2 hours worth of wages, right? The opportunity cost was just too high. I mean, it was okay if it was done in an emergency, right? After all, I'm going to need him when I have an emergency myself, right? That's fine. What's not fine is to automatically assume that because I did it for 2 weeks that I'm okay with doing it for the rest of eternity. And not only that, every time I needed something, my boss treated it like it was nonsense. Like for example, I wanted to go see the lunar eclipse. For some reason, Disneyland means a lot more to the boss than the lunar eclipse. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. The reason is that Disneyland spends trillions of dollars brainwashing us to think that Disneyland is important. The lunar eclipse doesn't spend any money on us, right? If anything, there's a when you go see the lunar eclipse, you're not spending money on a concert ticket, on Disneyland, a movie theater. If anything, there's a lot of anti-advertisement for that, right? And so uh, I often, when things should be equal, they often aren't, right? People forget that I have other desires in my life. And it inspired me to think about what if all singles went on a strike. I was reading about this online, and the main challenge is that not everybody can afford to lose a day's worth of work and or risk their job. And it got me thinking, why don't we put together a little bit of a strike fund? I'm gonna make the first donation to that strike fund and add about 20 pounds of copper that I pulled out of circulation while I was working on my zinc project. I'm gonna add this to the strike fund for single striking on October 24, 2025. Now, if you want to make a donation to the strike fund, let me know. Let's put it all together, and let's get at least 20 million Americans to go on this strike next Friday, and let's go have the best day of our lives. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.